The film begins with a convent sister praying before a picture of Mother Mary, asking for forgiveness for the crime she was about to commit. She then wrote something on the back of her picture, grabbed the bag, stole the keys from her in-charge's room, and went to the convent gate to escape. Just as she was trying to open the lock, some men in black gowns and red masks suddenly appeared, trying to apprehend her. Terrified, she tried to escape through the gate without opening it. However, one of the masked men grabbed her leg from behind, pinning her to the gate, breaking it. The pain was so intense that she fainted. When she regained consciousness, she was in a coffin. She hadn't imagined such a severe punishment for her crime. She continued trying to escape. She cried and screamed, but no one heard her, and she finally suffocated to death in the same coffin. Afterward, the scene cuts to Sister Cecilia in the same convent. This convent was in Italy, and Sister Cecilia had come here from the US. When asked about her journey from such a distance, Sister Cecilia replies, "A very strange incident happened to me as a child. I fell into a lake and was killed. My heart stopped for 7 minutes. The doctors declared me dead, but after 7 minutes, I was revived. My heart started beating, and it was nothing short of a miracle. I felt that God had given me life for a special purpose, and I had come here to find that purpose." The Mother Superior also seemed very happy with Sister Cecilia's arrival, although she could barely understand her words, as Sister Cecilia spoke English while everyone here spoke Italian. Sister Isabel, Mother Superior's assistant, understood everything Sister Cecilia was saying because she spoke English, but she didn't speak because she didn't like her presence there. Sister Cecilia is then given a tour of the convent and told that this convent is specifically for sisters who grow old while fulfilling their responsibilities. They are cared for until their death. The sister explains, "We are here to care for all the young sisters and the old sisters." As they were talking, an old nun arrived and asked Sister Cecilia, "Have you seen my father?" Actually, this sister was mentally unstable. Sister Isabel coaxes her away, and in this way, Cecilia also understands her role here. Then, Sister Isabel arrives. Sister Cecilia takes her to her room and tells her that she doesn't need to take a vow tonight. Stay here for one night and see. If you want to go, you can go, and God will forgive you. Sister Cecilia didn't understand her words at all. She ignores them and takes her vows as soon as night falls. It was here that Sister Cecilia met Father Cell, the man who had invited her. They began talking, and Father Cell revealed his experience as a biologist before coming here. They were drinking wine. Sister Cecilia recounted a childhood incident from the time she died and was resurrected. As she was telling Father Cell, the world around them suddenly changed. They arrived at the place where they had just taken their vows, and a man was lying on the ground in a strange manner, praying, wearing a red mask. When Celia asked her why she was lying down, she couldn't tell her what she was saying, speaking in a strange language. All Celia could understand was that the masked person was a woman. She was about to leave in panic when Mother Superior appeared before Sister Cecilia. She showed her the holy nail with which Jesus was crucified. Seeing this nail, Celia was so shocked that she fainted. Then, Celia found herself before the senior father, confessing that she had drunk too much wine the night before, which had embarrassed her in front of Mother Superior. She had just said this when suddenly a pair of hands came tearing through the wall behind her and dragged her away. Afterward, she found herself lying in a strange room facing the same women, dressed in large black gowns and red masks. These people were touching Cecilia's body in a strange manner, and in the meantime, Cecilia got scared and her eyes opened. Sister Cecilia realized that she had fainted after her wolf and was just now regaining consciousness. No one was near her at the time, but suddenly she saw someone standing in the darkness. She turned on the light and the person disappeared. Cecilia ignored him. The next day, Cecilia resumed her routine duties. She began serving the elders. She was taught the duties. She quickly learned everything, but she couldn't learn to slaughter chickens. Days passed in the same way until one day an elder died in front of her. No one was as saddened as Cecilia because it was the first time she had seen this, while for others it had become routine. Cecilia also tries to regain her composure, and during this time she encounters Sister Isabel, who looks at her with hatred, a meeting Cecilia cannot quite understand. One night, Cecilia is sleeping in her room when the elder sister comes to her, suddenly grabbing her hair and cutting it. Because of this, Cecilia wakes up and tells her, "We all love you very much." Cecilia thinks the elder sister must be unwell, so she goes and lays her down on her bed and notices something very strange: crucifix marks on both her feet, as if someone had heated a crucifix and applied it to her feet. Continue as usual until one day, Cecilia's health deteriorates. She starts vomiting, and the doctor is immediately called. Numerous tests are also performed. Although it was just normal diarrhea, she had a urine test, and Sister Cecilia found this rather strange. While thinking about this, Sister Cecilia kept noticing the same mashed masked woman outside her window, who always lingered outside her room, as if to guard her. Just as she was thinking about this, a ribbon suddenly flew past her window and crashed into her window, leaving Sister Cecilia terrified. A short while later, Sister Cecilia was called into the meeting hall. She was terrified because no other sister was ever called into the meeting hall like this, and the question she was being asked made her even more nervous. The father was furious, saying, "You broke your vow. You had sex with anyone." Cecilia tearfully swore that she hadn't had sex with anyone. The father said, "Okay, you must not have done it here, but then you lied to us, saying you're a virgin. Who knows? You might have just had sex with someone from outside." Cecilia swears that she was always a virgin. The doctor supports Cecilia and explains that when she arrived, he personally examined her. She was a virgin. At this point, she noticed that Mother Superior was holding a file with her own photo on it. After all the questions and answers, she places the file in the drawer, and despite the intense questions, Cecilia notices that everyone was strangely happy. Cecilia asks, "What happened?" Cecilia is not told anything. Instead, an ultrasound is performed, revealing that she is pregnant, just like Mother Mary, without having sex with anyone. Everyone believed that Cecilia was about to give birth to a holy child. Sister Cecilia becomes extremely confused and asks Father Salou, "Why me?" Father Salou says, "Perhaps because God chose you. You yourself say that God saved you. Who knows? God might have a greater purpose for this." His words silenced Cecilia, but she wasn't reassured. Anyway, Cecilia is now given the status of a maid in the convent. The nuns are stripped of their clothes and dressed in beautiful gowns, and the other nuns stand in front of her and pray. Cecilia noticed that everyone was praying except for two sisters, Sister Gwen and Sister Apple. She knew Sister Gwen had no faith in God at all. She had come to this church only to improve her situation. But why was Isabel angry with her? This was quite confusing to her. Well, time passes, and almost 6 months pass. Despite the passage of 6 months, Cecilia's health shows no improvement. Cecilia was still experiencing the problems that girls usually face at the beginning of pregnancy. She even broke a tooth while vomiting today, and this doesn't seem normal to her. Well, after recovering, Cecilia goes to breakfast and finds all the nuns standing in respect for her, as usual, except for 2 nuns. At the breakfast table, we see Sister Isabel eyeing Sister Cecilia with anger and jealousy. To vent her jealousy, she plans to kill Cecilia. While Cecilia is bathing, she tries to drown her in the bathtub, but other people arrive just in time and save Sister Cecilia. As the other sisters drag Sister Isabel away, Sister Isabel repeatedly tells Sister Cecilia, "It should have been me instead of you. They should have tried again with me." What attempts was she referring to? Cecilia becomes confused. Well, today, the doctor comes to the convent to check up on Sister Cecilia. They perform an ultrasound and find the baby is perfectly healthy. But Sister Cecilia says, "I'm not feeling well at all. I broke my tooth while vomiting this morning. I'm still experiencing all the things that happened in the first trimester, and I need to go to the hospital and get proper treatment from another doctor." But Father Salou tells her, "We can't take you to another hospital because if other doctors find out, the news will spread quickly. We want to keep this a secret for now." For this reason, Sister Cecilia also remains silent. As Sister Cecilia exits the room after the checkup, she sees 2 women wearing red masks standing inside Sister Isabel's room, staring at her. Sister Cecilia ignores them and starts walking forward when she hears the sound of someone falling. She looked back and saw that the women had knocked Sister Isabel down and killed her. This was Sister Isabel's punishment for trying to kill Sister Cecilia. Sister Cecilia went to the dead body and saw wounds on her face and legs, which meant they had tortured her before. Shortly after, Sister Isabel's funeral took place, and Sister Gwen, who doesn't believe in God, came to Sister Cecilia and said, "Open your eyes. What's happening here is not what you're being told." Before she could reveal the full truth to Sister Cecilia, Dr. Sell arrived and stopped her, changing the topic. She began shouting loudly, telling everyone the truth about this convent. But before she could achieve her goal, the other nuns dragged her away. Cecilia was deeply confused as to what she didn't know. While she was thinking, the photo of Mother Mary in her room broke and fell. She noticed that something was written on the back of the picture, and it was the same one the sister had shown her at the beginning. It was a Bible verse. Reading this verse, Cecilia became convinced that something was amiss. Cecilia had guessed that the child in her womb, which she considered a blessing, could also be a curse. To find answers to her questions, she went to Sister Gwen's room, but Sister Gwen was not there. We know that, like all the previous sisters, she too will be killed here. At this moment, Cecilia remembered that when she received the news of her pregnancy, Mother Superior had a file with her photo on it. She goes to the office and retrieves the file. She is shocked to see that the photograph contains every minute detail about her, from her death to her life, to the school she attended, the college she attended, and the time she left home. It was all there, and they already
already knew that Cecilia was a virgin and had arranged a plan through Father Cell to lure Cecilia to the convent. Just as Cecilia was learning about all this, she heard strange noises from behind a door. Through the eye hole, she saw Sister Gwen tied up inside, and the same nuns, or rather the security guards, wearing red masks, were torturing her. They grabbed Gwen's tongue with a tool and pulled it mercilessly. Cecilia screamed at the sight of all this. Someone came from behind and held Cecilia's mouth. It was the same elder sister. She often came to Cecilia's room. Cecilia tearfully told them she had to leave, and the sister assured her that she would never be able to leave. This confirmed to her that something terrible would happen to her if she stayed.
So the next morning, she hatched a plan. Loud screams emanated from her room, and everyone rushed to her room. There was a lot of blood on her body, which alarmed them, as they believed Cecilia's baby was in danger. Cecilia knew that doctors don't come to the convent 3 days a week, so she had chosen today. Given her condition, the father and the nuns decided to take Cecilia to the hospital from outside the convent. After she left, the Mother Superior began kissing the blood on her bed, and she smelled a familiar smell. That's why, when she looks under the bed, she finds a dead chicken, and she realizes the blood is from the chicken. Cecilia orchestrated this entire drama to escape. She immediately calls Father Cell and informs him. Cecilia, unaware of this, was waiting for an opportunity to escape in the car. She opened the car door and fled. But no matter how hard she ran, there were fields as far as the eye could see. Father Cell and his companions soon catch her, and she is brought back to the convent and bathed. Father Cell now tries to convince her of the truth, so Cecilia will give up her plans to escape. He explains, "Before I came to the convent, I was a biologist. When I arrived at this convent, I found the holy nail. This holy nail had Jesus's blood on it and a lot of his body tissue, which led to the discovery of Jesus's DNA. He explains that he tried to create another son of Jesus Christ using her DNA. He takes Cecilia to his lab, where he keeps many tiny embryos. He explains that these are all embryos that didn't survive. He explains that this experiment failed for 20 years, but it succeeded on her. Cecilia understood that this wasn't a miracle, nor had God chosen them. This was their plan, and they had always been watching Cecilia. When Cecilia lost consciousness that night after taking the pills, she understood that something had been deliberately mixed into her wine, and that the experiment must have been performed on her at that time. Now, since Cecilia had made the mistake of running away, she deserved to be punished. But just as everyone in the convent was punished and killed, Cecilia wouldn't be killed because, according to them, she had the Holy Child inside her body. They heat the crucifix and place it on Cecilia's feet. Cecilia remembers that she had seen the same crucifix on the feet of an elder sister. This means that she too had tried to escape during her pregnancy. Relieved, Cecilia also realizes that all the elder nuns here were not brought here to serve them, but were brought here to fulfill their own purpose and then kept here. This convent was a prison. No one was ever allowed to leave. Cecilia understands that she too will never be able to escape from this convent, so she quietly begins to live there. And days passed like this until 9 months later. Even more strange things began to happen to Julia. Her body began to rot. Sometimes her nails would rot and fall off. Sometimes her hair would fall off. Her skin had also completely deteriorated. She now goes to the senior father and says that what's happening to me means I don't have the Holy Child inside me. And what you're doing is absolutely not what God wants. The father replies, if God wanted this, why would he allow this to happen? Cecilia understood that these people wouldn't listen to her. So once again, she decided to carry out her plan, to escape. While the Mother Superior was performing her ultrasound, she stabbed her with the cross she was holding. As she tried to escape, she felt immense pain and knew that this was the time to give birth. Cecilia was about to flee when the senior father came from behind and strangled her to death with the chain she was wearing around her neck. The doctor, seeing all this, ran away. They escape and Cecilia arrives at the lab. Before leaving, she intends to destroy it. She even sprays ethanol throughout the lab, but Father Cell arrives and tries to stop him. Instead of listening to him, Cecilia deceives him, throws him inside the room, locks the door securely from the outside, and throws a lighter inside, setting the room on fire. She thought Father Cell would be dead by now, so she could easily escape, but then Father Cell, defending himself, bursts out of the room and starts chasing Cecilia. While fleeing, Cecilia enters a strange place, a gar-like structure. Upon entering, she finds the corpse of Sister Guan, who had wanted to drive her away in the first place. Cecilia is devastated by the sight, but there's no time for grief. She simply needs to escape. There's a window in front of her, and she's trying to escape, but Father Cell appears from behind. Father Cell pulls her down and begins operating on her, slicing her abdomen with a knife in his hand, hoping to obtain the Holy Child. But Cecilia prevents him from
achieving his goal, stabs her neck with the holy nail she holds in her hand, killing her. Finally, she leaves the convent. Her condition has deteriorated significantly. While in agony, she gave birth to a child. She had cut her umbilical cord with her own teeth, and now it was time to see her child. Her child looked terrifying and was making sounds like a demon. She understood that this child was not a blessing, but a curse. According to a Bible verse, if this child had lived, he would have become the Antichrist and brought destruction to the world. Therefore, Cecilia suppressed her maternal instincts and, picking up a large stone, crushed the child to death. In this way, she had saved the world from the arrival of an Antichrist and fulfilled God's special purpose. She runs away crying, and the story ends here.